There's certain situation where a refugee and aid worker are trying to communicate, and all what they need is just like quick translation of a certain sentence or word, and there's no one around them that can help them.
Bridge is a tool that allows aid workers and refugees and migrants the ability to request a translation and receive that translation back as a text, audio snippet, and as an image that they can hold up. It's intended to enable communication in a crisis setting.
We've settled on this approach that has humans doing the translations, so you can quickly get a notification about a new request, for instance, from Viber or another messaging app, with some support from machine tools like machine translation, translation memories, and dictionaries that really help speed along the translation, as well as an editorial review workflow that gives the editor a quick glance into the translations that have been made and the ability to make a quick edit before then agreeing and publishing the translation.
Like, I just think about like a refugee who is in a place that's trying to navigate. They want to buy something and they can't communicate. They want to buy a ticket for the train and they can't communicate. People just send a sentence of request and they get the translation by a human translator, which is much better than Google Translate or any machine translation.
And how do you say is really the spirit of this project. This is very much supported by, made possible by the Cisco Foundation, and is being implemented in partnership with Mercy Corps.
When we went to Serbia, for example, and we did our research for 1 week in one of the refugee camps, our research was like based on focus group with the refugees. We also worked with the aid workers, especially in the distribution process of clothes and the food. It was really great that we worked with the staff of Mercy Corps in the camp, and they also helped us with their use cases. And in Berlin, we used the space, which is really a nice community center in the middle of important like central neighborhoods. Also, they do a lot of work with refugees and newcomers.
And so we saw that, for instance, that people were sending voice messages to each other, and just noticed, for instance, the importance of messaging apps in the community. A number of the community members noted that some of their challenges is communicating basic needs while at a grocery store. So I bought a bunch of things. We created a sample grocery store. As we had communications challenges, they could speak into WhatsApp, or they could type into WhatsApp, and that would then just relay it directly to Abir, and then she would then send the response immediately. And so this was a way for us to simulate what it might look like for the user to send the request and then to receive the request a few minutes later, and so we could understand some of the awkwardness of that workflow, but also some of the great benefits.
We already have like maybe 30 people. Many of them either have experience in translation, either professional translators, or have certain experience in translating, and some others are just fluent in English and Arabic and they want to volunteer in this project.
At the camps, we recognize that there are a number of refugees who are bilingual, trilingual, even quadrilingual, who were already serving a key role as translators and community bridges.
Part of our long-term goal is to be able to train refugee translators and maybe allow them to gain professional experience in translation, and maybe that will help them also to find jobs or like have some career in this field. And we were able here to recruit some refugee translators and we were training them.
I'm a refugee from one of the refugees camps in Gaza, so I know how they deal with their difficult situation. I know what's the problem that they will face it. That's enough reason for me to help on this project.
We've been building Bridge for a few years now as a tool for translating social media in real time, as real time as possible, kind of finding that balance between speed as well as the need for accuracy.
We started an internal discussion at Meedan and said, how could we use Bridge in a way that could be beneficial to refugees and aid workers?
If we are able with our translation project to help identify needs of refugees or appeals of refugees or requests or some certain like issues that needs to be addressed by by the aid community, I think our project will be important in two ways. In the way of like making more people using it, and for that we need to go on and do more work. And the other thing is to expand it into include more languages.
Bridge as a tool for human translation and human annotation of that translation is a tool for context, tool for understanding more deeply. This is why we think humans will always be important, regardless how good the technology gets.